Here we go. Well, a huge welcome again to those who have joined us. My name is Ben. Hi, and I'm joined by Axelle. And Axelle and I have known each other for many years now. We met at a fantastic conference in Copenhagen back in 2018. And ever since then, we've been collaborating in various ways. And one of the ways that we collaborate is with training sessions like this. And we both have a great passion for our craft, for drawing, for helping to convert a whole lot of vague, complex business information into clarity, into visual clarity. And that's one of the ways that we always bonded. And that's indeed how this particular method, Flair, was born, because independent of each other, we had people asking us in our training sessions, well, how do you draw this tricky concept and how do you convert this business blah blah into something that can actually make sense as a picture? And we compared our notes, and that's where Flair as a set of prompts came from. Now, if you joined us in the other recent webinar we did another session like this with another creative drawing method called Snails. And Snails is a similar set of prompts. Snails is great if you just want to draw things more creatively, whether that's a snail or a brain or a laptop, you name it. But Flair is for those things that you think, well, it's not a physical thing. I know how to draw a laptop. I don't know how to draw diversity, or I don't know how to draw teams being in silos, for example, things like that. That is where the Flair method comes in really handy. Now, you probably know that already. That's why you're here. So thank you. Just one of many creative activities that Axelle and I love to teach others, which brings me to our backgrounds. We're big believers in changing up our environment to changing up how we think and being more creative. And so what we're doing is we're hosting a 3-day creative retreat in Florence. Yes, that's Florence, Italy, the birthplace of the Renaissance, on the 17th to the 19th of April. We got a discount code for you at the end. More on that later, but we thought we better mention that now. All right, so without any further ado, Axelle, what do you think? Should we just jump right in?
Yep, you can. Maybe I'll start before we start explaining Flair. I will quickly also tell something about how you can apply it.
Mm,
Because maybe you are, I don't know if you are visual thinkers and what your background is, but I or we have been using Flair a few times, even without drawing, or even with people who are not able or willing or used to draw. And it's a really good method to use to make some concepts more clear. And I give you a few examples in case you are, maybe there are some facilitators or consultants in the room, and maybe you can use it even without touching the pen. And one of them is, for instance, a few months ago, I had to visualize values of a company, Belgian cycling, by the way. And they had 6 values and they wanted a visual for that. And instead of me going to draw what each of the values looked like, I did a Flair session. So just when we will explain later, so I did it with the people. The people did exactly the same exercises as you are going to do. They are just normal people working for Belgian cycling, not normally using drawings, and they all went through it. And the amazing thing about this is because people are forced a little bit forced to thinking pictures, they come with completely new ideas. Because if you start to discuss about the words, you get all those semantic discussions about what a value could mean. But when you make them draw, even if they are not, I mean, used to draw, like I said before, it has a completely different effect. And we did the same with the city who wanted to visualize the political plan. We did something else with the vision of an organization. So every time we asked the people to go through Flair, and with that input, we went back to the office and we made something out of it. And it works really quickly. So that's something I wanted to share. So it's not always for yourself. You can also really help it for other people to make them think differently. So, and now I will explain how it works. What is flair? So I will walk you through it. We will take a subject. That's important. You first have to think about what do you want to draw about, of course, before you start drawing. And I have five topics. And maybe Ben, could you put them in the chat so that people can choose? So we were discussing about it. What are the topics that or concepts that people talk about a lot during conferences and meetings? And the first one was what Ben said before, people working in silos. That's something that basically I hear still every week. And I hear that already for 16 years. So people working in silos, very cliche concept. Then another one, a bit newer, is the threat of AI, a concept that comes up all the time and that every time I wonder, how can I draw that? The third one is innovation, very simple, but also a huge buzzword. Then another one that comes up every time is customer centricity, and it exists in different forms and different words, but it's the same. And the last one is, I don't think there is one presentation that I've done last couple of months that doesn't start with the world is changing fast. So these are five concepts. You can choose your own if you have another one in your mind, but if you can pick one of the five. I will take the people in silos to go to the exercise, but you can do another one if another one is more relevant for you. So the people in silos. Let's take that one. Flair, five prompts, and the first one is feeling. So if you have people in silos. Oh, Marta, thank you. I have a question. Never heard of that expression. So people in silos, that's something that a lot of people use to say that people don't collaborate well. So they are all working in their own division, in their own service, and they're not connecting with other people. But yeah.
And one of the things why visualization is so important is to clarify when things like this happen, when people at work use cliches like people work in silos, and they just assume that everyone knows what it means. And it can mean several things. It can mean what Axelle just said. It can mean that people are physically separated. It can mean that they're not understanding one another or that their systems are disconnected. It could mean so many things. And a lot of what we do as visual practitioners is bring clarity, don't we? And it's interesting, yes, that you brought that comment up, Marta. So thank you.
Yeah, indeed. It's very telling for the problem we're trying to solve. So, flair. So the F, easy, stands for feeling. So the first question we ask ourselves, when we think of people working in silos, so not collaborating, for instance, how does it feel? If you would, and what we're first going to do, we're not going to start drawing, we're going to start writing. And in the second phase, we will start drawing. So now you can just write words that come to your mind when you think about the feeling about people in silos. And I will join you. You can, and of course, you do it for your own words. But I will write down, for instance, lonely. It can be
Mm.
bored, unhappy, maybe angry because you don't understand each other.
Mm.
Um, empty, but also calm. There's no one around you, so it must be very calm. So here we think about what are the feelings we associate with that concept that you're trying to draw.
Thanks, Saranjit. Yeah, Saranjit says you can feel distant, silent,
Yeah,
not connected, isolated. That's brilliant. Thank you.
yeah, indeed. Okay. So that was the first one. What do we feel? And if I go too fast, just give a shout when you have an eye on the chat, I think,
Uh,
because
we're
it's
going
really good.
well.
Okay. So the second one is a L, and that stands for how does it look like? So if you
Mm.
think of people working in silos, how does it look like? What do you see? And of course, personally, I still see silos. It's maybe not what I want to draw, but I still see them. And I see islands.
Mm. And
And
that's another interesting point here where we use cliches in our language all the time, and that might be fine. But when it comes to trying to use drawing to add clarity, sometimes we just think, oh, I'll just draw the cliche, in this case, silos. And it came from the term grain silos. And that might help, that might be accurately describing the situation, but it might not. And so here's where sometimes we have to unlearn the immediate thing that we think we need to draw. Instead, if you think about first, is it a metaphor or not? Try to catch that and think, okay, so silos, it's a it's a metaphor. What's it a metaphor for? In which case, it's separation. And so that's why Axelle is writing other words like islands, cages, disconnection. This is what these are other ways that it can look like.
okay, so I hope everyone has a few words with the L of look like. Then we go to the A, which stands for another word. So the A stands for another word. So what could be other words for silos or for people working in silos? And now I struggle. What could be another word for people? Because, like, yeah, English is also not my first language. It's like not so many people in the room. Other words could be. Um, is anyone sharing something?
And sometimes these prompts, the answers to the prompts can overlap a bit. So, Axel, I noticed like you've already written things like cages, islands.
Mm-hmm.
Um, those indeed are other words that describe this situation. So sometimes when you use these prompts, you might get overlaps, and that's perfectly fine. Sometimes when you think about, well, what does it look like? Your mind might go to things, well, what working in silos might look like is people having different processes that don't match up,
Mm-hmm.
or approvals taking too long, or one person trying to join a new team and just not understanding how that new team works. Your answers are going to depend on your experience and the situation itself.
It also depends, of course, on the location where you work. I was working today in a nursing home, and working in silos looks different there than in a multinational, for instance.
I can hear everyone's brains going. This is great.
Yeah, indeed. Mine is also working really hard. I have a serious cold, and
You're going very, very
it's
well.
not
Yeah,
helping
yeah.
me.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the value that we bring, isn't it? Like, this is the part that some people want to outsource to AI, but this is what we get paid for. We get paid to think. So much of our value is this thinking power. And I hope by the end of the hour, you'll recognize how, as a set of prompts, it gives you another tool to expand your thinking. So, yeah, thinking is hard and our brains are lazy. And so hopefully this helps your brain be less lazy. Yes.
Okay, so the fourth one is the R of result. So result, what's the result of people working in silos? What's the result of people not working together and collaborating together? So I'm thinking of loss of knowledge, for instance. That could be a result of people working in silence. It could be unhappy clients because they have to talk to five different people and they get maybe five different answers. A result could be loss of time. Or no cross-selling. So that's the R, and then we go to the E, and that's for some people a tricky one, that's experience. So how, and it comes very close to feeling, but it can be very different. So how is the working in silos, how it can be experienced? So it can be experienced by employees, by clients, by the employer maybe. How is the experience of working in silence? And I think, for instance, in scattered, so it can have a scattered experience. So like what I was saying about clients, if people work in silos, it feels very chaotic and scattered. That could be one. It could be like different boats going in different direction. The small world, like a division where you work, is like small and narrow compared to the big world of the company you're working in, for instance.
Jen in the chat is saying doubling down on the wrong problem. It could be experienced like that. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. And here's
Yeah.
where you can really contextualize it to your team and your experience.
Yeah. And it can also feel very safe. Yeah, thank you, Marta. It's a really good difference. So feeling is more emotion, where experience is more metaphorical. It's that could be, yeah. And the feeling is much more. By the way, very often it's very close to each other. It's not that you have to, for every letter, you have to find new things. It's more to come up with more different things. But the feeling very often is much more related to a person, where an experience can be to a much bigger whole, for instance. And I remember of one of the Flair workshops I did at a conference where we had AI as a topic, and AI as a feeling. There were words like scared, insecure, and things like that. And the experience was a wave. You see, so it's a bit
Mm.
different. It's, like you said, more a metaphor, more something bigger than only the feeling. Yeah. Go
The
ahead.
experience can also be outside of the person. It can
Yeah,
be
exactly.
expressed as a set of tasks or multiple people doing something or a process. So it doesn't have to be an emotion. Yeah, that's what the F is for.
Okay, so now we have made a cloud of words around one certain topic. So this is a very large, enlarged version of one certain topic or a concept. And now you have this. I give the word, no, the floor to Ben. Or maybe first, how do you, Ben? How do you decide which words to pick when you have
Yeah,
this
well, here's
cloud of
where
words?
yeah, and here's where I'll show you in a minute. We'll swap cameras and
Oh, yeah.
I'll
Okay.
start drawing. So if Axelle keeps this text on her screen, I can refer to that. But in answer to that question, yeah, it's really just where your mind goes, and this is the rich part of flair, where the idea is not to just go to one particular image straight away, but it's to have a bit of a think and a bit of a play first. So that's what I'm going to do now. Often, what we tend to do when we draw is we hear the concept or read the concept, in this case, silos. We think, what do I draw? And we do a drawing. And that's fine. And that's a real kind of icon-centric way of drawing. But as we've seen, what we're doing here is we're adding a bit more thinking here. So this Flair's way of drawing is we still think, yeah, what could I draw? But we take that step first, and the way that we've shown you here is by writing out what we're thinking, all those lists of words. And so that's the, if you like, the first thing is knowing what concept you want to illustrate. Second thing is writing all those descriptors. And now the third step is what I'm going to show you now, is where you just uh, try drawing different aspects of those words that you drew. So, as I mentioned, the idea isn't just to draw one picture, it's to draw several different sketches. So, I encourage you to grab a fresh piece of paper, like I'm about to do, and draw pictures based on what you wrote. And then, just to give a spoiler alert here, the next thing we're going to do is step 4, refine and combine. We're going to look at what we've drawn and choose a few, or maybe even one, but you choose which ones stick out for you the most, and then we draw our final image. So that's where we're headed. So I'm going to do this step 3 now. And based on what Axelle has drawn here, I'm going to think, well, we're still working with the same concept, people in silos. And how does it feel? Well, I know I can draw faces with some emotions here. So we're feeling a bit lonely and bored. Bored. He looks a bit more perturbed, slightly angry than bored, but yeah, unhappy, angry, empty, calm, distant. I could draw angry, um, but it doesn't have to be negative. It can be calm because some people, like being silent. That might be a useful thing. And that's another great thing that Flair helps you unearth and explore, and that is point of view. What is your point of view on this ambiguous topic? Some of you might have chosen that topic about AI, and this can help you explore what is your point of view that you want to get across. So that's just a few different things there. What does it look like? So yes, we have silos, but we have islands. I think that's interesting. And islands have these trees. I'm going to draw quite loosely and quickly here, just for the sake of time. But feel free to draw according to your lists. So there's like a set of islands off in perspective, or maybe there's islands looking overhead. Hierarchy is interesting, where it could be like that good old tree diagram, but there's like these walls in between represented by these thicker lines. That might be an interesting thing to draw. So hierarchy and walls, this idea of separation. Cages, that's very interesting. Now, if I draw a cage, I can't help but think of like some hands holding the bars of the cage. That's another interesting direction there. So I'm not making any judgments yet. I'm just drawing and doodling. I don't have to make any choices yet. A stands for another. So what does no collaboration look like? Well, now I might do two people faced away from each other, and they've got their arms crossed, um, working in one service. We're isolated. So it might be someone in a box, and other people are on the outside of the box looking in, wondering what's going on. And the result of people in silos, loss of knowledge. Oh, that's a good one. I feel like that's like, if I think, well, knowledge is valuable. So here's a gemstone and it's flying away. So we've got all these things of value flying away. We don't know each other. So there's lots of question marks and confusion. Loss of time, that's a great one as well. I could use that same idea of clocks flying away or a calendar. I got to make sure I still stay in view here. Might
Hmm.
put my paper up a little bit.
Yep.
You still seeing that okay?
Yeah, now I see it again. Yeah.
I'll draw this one a bit bigger actually. I could draw, there's a calendar, but now there's lots of X's on it. And even just drawing those X's, that just made me think, oh, what if it was just like a dead calendar? That's interesting. Um, and often that's what we're after. We're after, like, is there some catch? Is there some interesting thing that strikes us that can help wake up people to the concept that we're trying to get across with a little bit of visual storytelling here? And the last one, experience. We've got a small world, narrow, safe, scattered. But I like this, the idea of boats going in different directions.
By the way, Ben, Marielle adds something interesting. She says, Cage and knowledge flying away seems a great couple. So that's maybe something that could be used in the next phase where we bring things together.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Marielle. And that's yeah, indeed, that's what we go to next. So once you've done several different doodles, several different sketches there, then you can think, well, what are the ones that resonate with me the most? So as you said, there's something about the cage is interesting. Um, the knowledge flying away is interesting. And so it might be more important to show the result of people in silos, not trying to sort of visually describe people sitting in silos. For me, there's something about the the feeling is interesting. Um, and I was drawn to the idea before of these boats going off in different directions, but you're right, there's something about the result of it, like the loss, the things that we're not catching, time. And I think of business, I think time is money. Just thinking of these things together now makes me think, well, time and money. So maybe there's something about money flying away while we're stuck in a cage and not able to reach it. And so that's, ladies and gentlemen, the fourth step. This is where you start exploring and seeing what makes sense to you. And now we're going to refine and combine into one final image. And this is the part that I'm always nervous about. Trying to sort of draw live like this is always really tricky. But hey, I know you're lots of friendly people, so you won't mind if this goes pear-shaped because it's all part of the creative process, right? Um, now, I'm going to draw some money flying away. Again, I want to work fairly quickly because time is getting on.
And feel free to make your own drawings if you have another concept, or feel free just to copy what Ben does. Um, Choose what helps you most.
And I'm going to draw it's like an arm coming through these bars. It's like we're trying to catch that money, but we can't. And here's another cage. Because we're still a team, aren't we? Like we're still a group of people, but we're not connected. And so, here's another hand. This time I want to show a bit more of a face to show how it feels. And just for kicks, I'll do a couple more pages. And to make this really explicit, I'm going to write team, just so if someone were to come along and have a look at this, they should be able to see at a glance what's going on. So a few words here and there can really help. So we've got a team. They're clearly stuck inside, and there's all this money flying away. And so now we've got something that it really kind of it hits, doesn't it? You know? So and this reminds me of another thing that Axelle and I wanted to show in that, yes, Flair is a set of prompts, but please don't think you need to include something of every single prompt
Mhm.
in the one image. It's just there as a set of prompts, as we said, that some might not resonate, some might not work. That's fine. It's just there to surface different ideas. And what we've got now, rather than perhaps a more cliched picture of some figures in two big long things that look like silos. We've got emotion, we've got result, we've got a little bit of that another like this thing of cages, and so we've got something that straight away is more interesting. So there you go.
And of course, it's very depending on the story that you want to tell, because this is very much money focused and very negative. But depending on the industry where you are or the team where you're working, it could be a completely different image, of course. So that's the main thing. It has to relate
Mm.
to the people that you're talking to, of course. I see a lot of hearts and hands applauding, Ben, for your work. So
Oh,
that's
good.
nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
I
Thank you.
don't
Thank
know
you.
if you
And by the
saw it.
way, as I mentioned, I never know where this is going to go.
It's
And
always,
that's the joy of this. That's the joy of our game, isn't it? And so we use this as a way to play. Yeah.
but you can see if you ask people, of course, people who are not used to draw are not going to draw the way that Ben has been drawing, but they draw with stick figures or with shapes. But because they are geared to those prompts or guided through those prompts, they come with completely different ideas than where they started when you just would ask, okay, if you have the value integrity, what does that mean to you? I mean, they will come up with the most buzzwords you can imagine, but if they have to draw it, you come with something completely different. And Jen, yes, indeed, it resonates with design thinking and empathy mapping. Yeah, I
Yes.
can I can see how that works. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And indeed, you might be able to adapt this into your work in other ways. Just like the way that Axel mentioned before, you can use it in meeting facilitation where you don't even have to draw, but use the prompts as a way to elevate the discussion. Remember when she talked about articulating values, for example. And so, yeah, as a set of prompts, it works great in design thinking workshops, any kind of workshop. Yeah. We're really interested to know how did it go for you? Please feel free to drop into the chat comments about what worked well for you, what didn't. Did you have any aha moments? How did it go for you? Let us know. Smash
Maybe
that chat box.
maybe questions you have. It was
All
brilliant.
questions
Thank
you
you.
have, yes.
Or nice feedback. Thank you. It was brilliant. Someone said very insightful. Really
Liberating. Ah, that's good to know. Yeah, it is. And it can, in our field, like we can feel stuck, can't we? And we can feel too much under pressure when it's on us to try to illustrate and clarify an ambiguous, complex, or technical concept. And by the way, everyone else is stuck and everyone is looking for that that source of liberation, and that's where we can bring so much value in our work, where we can be that agent of liberation by asking these very simple but very powerful prompts.
Yeah. Interesting. Werner says, great to see that we start with five lists with words and then move to, and then only then move to the drawing part. Yeah. That's, by the
Indeed.
way, yeah, people who ever have been with me in a training, they know that I always say it's not about drawing, but it's about the story you want to convey. So way too often we start drawing way too quickly. So instead of first thinking, what do you want to bring across? What's the message that you want people to remember? And if you first start thinking about that, then that changes completely what you're going to draw. So that's indeed very much what I wanted or what we wanted to bring across.
Mm.
Okay, so Marta, we give your way of working a name. That's amazing.
And well done for already working that way, by the way. Yeah, yeah. And sometimes that's the thing. Like we're magicians already, aren't
Yeah.
we? And so often, like we don't know how we do it. Do you have times like that where people say, "How do you draw what you draw? How do you do what you do?" And you go, "Well, I don't know." And there are times when you can think, well, yes, I do know. So that when you're in those moments when you feel like a rabbit in the headlights, think, oh,
Mm.
now like you've got some structure to go, yeah, I've got this. I do know how I think. I do know how I draw. Yeah.
Thanks, Werner, for the Werner or Werner. I don't know how in Belgium we would say Werner. It opens up the cages in our minds. Yeah, very relevant.
Oh, oh, love that.
Yeah.
That's the quote of the webinar. Love that. Thanks, Werner. And
Okay.
Elizabeth saying, I went a little quick. Oh, it went a little quick for me to do the exercises myself at the same time. I'm certainly going to try. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What we've done here is a very like squished, contracted, very fast version of how certainly we would normally do it. But yeah, we really wanted to give you at least a bit of an experience of what it is to use this in this hour. So yeah, I'm glad to hear you'll give it a go after the webinar.
Marta is saying, I'm also thinking how to get even more out of the box because most of my words are in the same bubble. Maybe thinking about extreme examples of a concept. Or think about very specific physical objects like you did with cages. Yeah, and you can even sometimes I even associate on the association, so you can even go further. The only thing is, of course, you still have to make sure that people recognize what you're talking about, so that it's not like a kind of um, quiz to find out what was I thinking, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. And can I just add to that too? You might come up with something that you might think is genius, and you'll show it to other people, and they go, "Huh?"
yeah,
It's always nice to show it to a few friendly people first to say, "Hey, does this make sense? What am I missing?" I remember once I was working with a team doing something similar and I drew something that was using the metaphor of a boat, and because they were all engineers, and I knew that they were, that they liked all things Viking and medieval and stuff like that. So I drew a Viking boat, and one of the engineers said, "I object to that. It's too aggressive. It's militaristic. I don't like it." And I was like, oh, wow. And I would never have picked that up myself. And I'm really glad
yeah.
that she spoke up, And so then together, we then adjusted. And I think then it became a yacht. And then there were lots of sort of yacht rock jokes that then ensued. You know, a yacht rock is that uh, it's a genre of music like Toto and Christopher Cross and yeah, like there's this music genre. Anyway, yeah, the point is test it with people around you. Yeah.
exactly.
Gosh, I can rave on. I'm sorry.
Well, since Lisbeth said it went a bit fast, maybe I can make the bridge to the closure of this session. Um, we are going to send a recording like we did last time, the previous one. Um, so for the ones who want to do it again and went maybe a bit fast, you can re-watch it. You will also get at 9 o'clock sharp, you will get the question to give feedback on the session so we can learn for the next one. And in the end, finally, you will also get, like Ben said in the beginning, a discount code for Florence. For those who are still considering, we know some people are still considering, till the end of this month, you get your accommodation free for 2 nights if you sign up. So that's something else that I wanted to share, and I will send through the same mail as where you registered for this webinar. And I think that's it. We aimed for 45 minutes. We gave it an hour just in case. If there are questions, we are still here. And otherwise, I want to thank you for participating. We probably will come up with another excuse to gather one evening somewhere or early morning for Ben. And yeah, thanks a lot. Have a lot of fun with it. Hope to see you soon again. Thanks a lot.
And a big thank you from me as well,
Oh,
everyone. And
sorry. Thank you, Ben.
thanks.
Oh, thank you, Ben, by the way. Yeah.
Thank you for all the hearts. Way! I've never seen that before. That's awesome. Feel free to share what you drew. You can email us and share what you drew with picture of what you drew, or share on social media. That's always great.
Yeah.
You can link to us if you like on Ben Crothers on LinkedIn and Instagram, and Axelle surprisingly is Axelle
Axelle
Vanquaillie
Vanquaillie.
on LinkedIn and Instagram. Yeah, yeah, it'd be fantastic to see what it is that you drew. What came to mind for you, and what topic you choose that you chose for this session. Yeah, so huge thank you, everyone.
Thank you, and have a nice evening, morning, day, whatever is ahead of you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye for now. Tot ziens. Ciao.
Ciao.